Hello boys, what's going on? We are back, session 6. Is it session 6, Flynn?
Good God Almighty! Yes, I think it's six.
Session
No, it's 7.
Session 7. It's written on the TV behind me.
We have lost count.
That's how many we've done. We are being consistent.
We're not even in double figures.
Yeah, we're getting there.
This is the Forest math system. It's gone out the window.
Yeah, never mind.
But yeah, this is session 7, and it is aptly named Writer I Hardly Knew Her. And why is it called That Buzzsaw? Tell me now.
Because we have a writer.
We have a writer with us.
That was a terrible joke. I don't know why you even bothered.
We do have a writer with us, a Mr. Abdul Patel. He is a writer, an actor, a poet, and everything in between. Ladies and gentlemen, Abdul Patel.
Woo!
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Yo, what go on?
One love. Yeah, Abdul, how are you, my man? How's lockdown treating you?
I'm good, man. It's treating me good, bad, and everything in between. Yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, exactly the same. I think that's the universal feeling for lockdown. It's good, bad, and everything in between.
And like everybody else, we started a podcast.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, the best time to do it is when everybody else has started one.
Obviously.
Follow the trend.
Buy high, sell low.
But you've got a podcast of your own, haven't you, Abdul?
Yeah, Three Wise Men. Myself, my good friend Robert Kier, and my other good friend Alex Holsborough.
And is it like an ironic Three Wise Men?
Yeah, we kind of just take everything out of context and just have fun with it. And if people listen, then yeah, great. If they don't, then we're having fun regardless.
Exactly, that's what we try and do. Is just have a bit of a laugh with it all, really. I think we try and keep it as unprofessional as possible. And I don't know if that's an intentional thing or is it something that just happens, but so what would you say?
I'd say it's intentional. I'm pretty sure you're hitting the microphone right now.
Am I?
Getting too excited.
It's what I do. I start tapping things.
You're a nightmare.
I am the worst. Abdul, what kind of things do you talk about on your podcast? So the Three Wise Men, you sat down. What comes up? What can people expect from that podcast?
Well, anything and everything, really. We try to cover like a bit sports, a bit of current news and affairs, and then something good to take away from the episode. So, for example, we may talk about the latest boxing show that's coming up, maybe Canelo, because he's fighting this weekend. Then we would probably talk about, say, for example, this whole incident with GameStop and the stocks and the stock market and all of that. And we'll try and talk about it in simple terms so people that are listening can understand, because half the shit they talk about I don't really understand anyway. And then we'll talk about something a bit light and something, you know, if younger people are listening and there's things that they may want to get involved in, possibly some resources and just a light message not to take things to heart, especially during COVID, and any of the support and guidance we can offer.
It actually sounds like a nice podcast. It sounds like
we try to hit that kind of like adult, young adult and child, and it's probably not appropriate for any of them, but we do it anyway.
I don't know what our target audience is. I don't want to say.
I don't want to offend anyone.
It's absolute killers. They always tune in. But have you listened to any of our sessions or episodes or like our reviews or anything, Abdul?
You don't have to say yes.
Yeah,
don't
I
have to be.
listened to the Royal Rumble one, I think that was the first one.
Yes. Yeah, we've got the relaunch episode, and we've got the Crimble Crumble, which is our second session, as the last one we did before we started having like a slew of guests.
Yeah. It was only you three, the one I watched. So I did start the one where you guys reviewed the MMA one, but I didn't get around to finishing it. So I look forward to
most of our listeners, they tuned in for 2 minutes ago. Oh, it's these guys.
Well, this is a shit opinion.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But it's good. It's good to hear other people's opinions on things, especially people that don't particularly interest them, because then I guess for people that are doing those sorts of podcasts or in that field of work, it could be a tool for them how to reach out to those people. So, it is positives in everything, really, isn't there?
Even this.
For us as well, we've I don't watch MMA. I've never really kind of gotten into it. So I've watched now 2 events, thanks to Buzzsaw basically getting me into it.
Because it's the best. I love MMA. I've loved MMA for years. I've been watching it since I was like 3 years old. Oh, hang on. Flynn, where you gone? You coming back?
I don't. I'm here.
Oh, thank God. You did. You're back. Like a wizard.
Goddamn fox, isn't it, man?
What can you do? What do you expect for a $5?
But as I was saying, I don't know how far I got into that before my internet just completely crapped out on me. I don't watch MMA. So who better to review it than me?
Obviously.
This is it.
But I bring a different perspective. I bring the perspective of a fool.
Everyone needs that perspective.
Exactly, but Buzzsaw will talk logic.
I try. Still, most of the time, I'm just like, just hit him in the face.
But you've done a bit of MMA yourself, haven't you, Abdul?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I'm more grounded with my jiu-jitsu, opposed to competing in MMA. My wife don't let me do that no more. So, it's a bit of a killer, but it's also nice not to get punched in the face anymore. So, it has its plus.
Yeah, that's why I do pro wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a likelihood of getting punched in the face, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but at least they're trying not to hurt me.
It's an accident.
Yeah.
But how is your wife, Abdul? I haven't seen her in forever.
She's great. She's good. We just moved into a new house, so she's busy like unpacking and making it a home.
Whilst you're on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly that.
She's in there
her out into the kitchen.
There's no TV or radio in there. She just sat there with a cup of tea.
Doing her nails.
Yeah.
But I was actually at Abdul's wedding as well, and it was an absolutely lovely day. But I got to tell you, I think his family tried to kill me with the food.
Yeah, you're not the first person that said that.
Come over to you, and I was like, "What's the food that's going to be happening here?" And he goes, "Oh, it's curry," and I went, "Oh, it's not spicy, is it?" And he went, "No, it's mild. It's mild." I asked for an ambulance. I'm dying. Milk. They kept water, and it was burning my mouth even more. I was dripping.
You got that forest palate.
I've got that forest palate. Give me a korma or a chicken tikka masala. I know where I stand.
My mother-in-law will kill me for this, but so it was biryani. It's like how can I say it? It's rice with like meat and veg and a few other bits. It's like a dry curry, if you like. But afterwards, I thought it was just mild. Like maybe I'm used to eating hot food. You were the only person that said it. But my mother-in-law actually got blisters on the top of her mouth because it was so hot.
Oh God!
Worse than me.
That is savage.
She's Portuguese, so yeah, maybe they're not used to eating hot food. I don't know.
I don't think so.
There, and I'm sweating. The whole table was just laughing at me, and I was then. I was like, and they was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Just call all the ambulances." I was done so quickly. And I think somebody came over, "Do you want some more?" And I went, "Go away, just go away." I don't know who it was. But I offended an elderly woman.
Probably my nan.
On her list. But Abdul, you've got like a lot of things that you've done. You have got a lot of things, and I know you've been doing a lot. But when you kind of like told me everything when I invited you onto the podcast, you really did give me a list of shit that you've done, and it's impressive as hell. Like really, really is. But I thought first of all we'd touch on your books, and I actually have two of them here. So I've got Native and the Ghost of Shaolin.
Ooh, nice covers.
Yeah.
Really nice. What I love about Native as well, it's a picture book.
My favourite kind of book.
Because it's got some really nice little illustrations in there and stuff, like these little things in the book.
Ooh, very fancy.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know what that was. I think was that a TP, Abdul? Could you tell me? Tell old Flynn.
Yeah, so Native's about a girl that goes off to university in LA, and she's Native American, and she learns that she's part of this great prophecy, and it's a fictional book. And what I essentially do is twist Native American mythology and Polynesian mythology together and make it a sort of young adult teen fictional book. So it's like a coming-of-age story, and I wanted to put a spin on vampires and werewolves, but not like Twilight or these teen books, but from a mythological point of view. So think more cannibals and shapeshifters.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
And
They
they
have got a Robert Pattinson in the book though. This guy here.
I was going more for like a Samoan, but you know.
Samoan Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And that's a guy I want to meet.
A mixture between the two. So yeah. But yeah, essentially, I was always interested in Native American mythology, and then somehow stumbled on Polynesian mythology, and then I just realized how similar they both were in their own rights, but from a story perspective, like the beginning, middle, and end, they were quite similar. So I decided to mash the two and put it in modern day, and 52 or 54,000 words later, I got a novel.
And fair play. I remember when you started writing this as well, because we went out to lunch and you were saying, "Oh, I've started writing a book." And I remember at the time going, "The fuck, Abdul's writing a book?" Like it seemed completely out of nowhere. But again, it went from that kind of meeting, and suddenly you'd gotten like everything kind of being sent off to like the publishers and and I think like the writers to check it and everything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the full process. But like it all moved really, really quickly from that point on, and I think that's fucking fantastic. Like how you just went for it as well, and I love the Tinder bio in the front as well.
Looking good.
Thank you.
Man's Tinder profile photo. And also, I will say, where's my thanks in the book? There's no thanks, Flynn Burden.
It's on the back of the receipt.
It's on the back of the receipt.
You might need to buy it again to see it.
I need to buy it again.
But actually,
the whole
saying that,
and it just says, "Flynn says you're welcome."
You wrote that in there yourself, man.
you were mentioning about the when I first told you was actually the first person I actually told I was writing a book. So yeah, I remember we went out to lunch. I think it was in a coffee number 1 or something in town, And
was like a
I just like laid it on the table and was like to Flynn, oh, I've done this book, and he was looking at me like, yeah, you're talking shit. And I said to him, no, like this is the idea, this is what I want to do. And he was looking at me like, you crazy, like, you know, you don't write, barely read.
Oh, what a hater, man.
I think a lot of that stems because we had Rob Leonard on here previously, literally about 4 sessions ago, and we was talking about college, and me and Abdul went to college on that exact same course with Rob.
Yep.
And Abdul was always cast like he wasn't ever cast like in a larger role, and I don't know why, but he can just literally just give them all a massive middle finger since leaving college. Do it, you fucking pricks. All this shit, which we'll get onto a little bit later. But I know I couldn't be prouder of you, man. Couldn't be prouder of you. You've done some really fucking incredible things since I've known you, and obviously these are the first 2 that you've done. So Native and the Ghost of Shaolin, which are all available to buy, and we'll put links for all your books and stuff in the description down below. So anybody that's watching on YouTube or on SoundCloud, give them a check out, man, because they have some freaking good books. But you've got more on the way. A new one as well called Escape.
Yeah, Escape.
And then
I've got a copy with me here.
Oh,
This is Boy Escape right here. So it's a novella. It's about a boy from a Venezuelan orphanage, and he plans to escape, believe it or not. And I touch on some real harsh realities of children living in South America. So during this story, it talks a lot about like crime, gangs, drugs, human trafficking, child exploitation, all in a fictional story. And at the time, I was doing a lot of research. Whenever I write, I do tons of research about topics and places and people to get a feel of their culture and the places. But at the time, there was a lot of stuff going on in Venezuela. And believe it or not, I wrote that book straight after Native. So it's about 6-7 years old. I published it last year, December. Yeah, December. And yeah, I'm getting some really good feedback. I got some pretty cool people to review it. So Rakaya Esme Fatuga, who's she's a Roundhouse Slam champion in poetry. Great person. She actually encouraged me to do poetry. So props to her. Caleb Femi, he's all around artist, poet, fashion guru. He works alongside what's his name? The guy in Gucci, I forget what his name is. He makes all like the Air Jordans and Nikes as well. But yeah, great guy, Ashley Hickson Levance. He's never author. Super cool guy. Always hollers at me on social media. Always gives me advice and is always wanting to know what I'm up to. Silly Breaks. Another poet and kind of like a mentor to me. I always talk to him about things, and he's doing great things on like BBC and on YouTube, and I'm sure he's got more stuff coming out. But some really great people reviewed it and gave some really heartfelt words. So if any of you haven't read it, go ahead and purchase it, have a read. And more than anything, if you do read it and something resembles to, have a look, see what's going on in the world. Have a look, see what's happening in Venezuela. There's lots to learn by just doing a Google search on the world.
It's a very good point to make, man. There is a lot of shit going on in the world that we just don't hear about or think about even. We're sat here in our nice flat thinking about, oh, lockdown's so hard. There's a lot worse shit going on in the world. It's good to think about that sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. No, definitely. And it is just we all think we're quite hard done by at the minute. But, you know, we may be in lockdown, but we've got like all the technology. So we've got like our TVs and our phones and
our PlayStation,
the internet. Exactly. We've got all that shit.
Infinite content on Netflix.
Exactly. We've got Pornhub.
Of course you would say that.
It's gotten me through. It's gotten me through, guys.
God bless.
But yeah, there is a lot there. But you've got you've got, as you said, you've got Escape that's out now. But you've also got one that's about to be released.
Yeah, so hopefully, touch wood, November, I'll have a collection of short stories. It's a working title, but I'm going along the lines of stories heard in the estate. Obviously, growing up in London, growing up in an estate and around the state, there's loads of stories to tell from different cultures and people and their perspectives. And it's 10 short stories, because I know a lot of people find it hard reading whole books. So, it's nicer to own a book where you can pick it up, read one small story, chuck it to a side, and if you ever fancy reading another one, go ahead again. But I've got 10 artists working on board with me, and it's a really cool concept. I thought of it all by myself, and of course it's cool because I thought of it. But,
arrogant piece of shit. Typical writer.
I've sent a story each to one of these artists, and I've allowed them to read it and allowed them 100% creativity to draw or paint a picture of what they interpret the story as. So, I could be very shocked that a stickman comes back, but I'm pretty sure it won't. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that whole piece come together, and it's another project that I feel like it's going to be great.
And I'm sure it will, man, because again, I think history just shows itself with these. Like, I haven't got Escape yet, but it's one that I do want to pick up, and it's taken me, I will admit, a long time to get through this, just simply because I'm not a reader by any means. I'm not somebody that sits down with a book very often, but you kind of changed that, to be honest. But it has taken me a long time to get through that book. But it was a great read, and it's not because it was shit that I didn't read it. This is my pitch. Do you want this review on Amazon?
Yeah, put it on Amazon.
I'll put that on Amazon. It's taken me 2 years to read the book, not because it was shit, but because I'm not much of a reader. However, I thoroughly enjoyed Native. I felt like that's a good review.
It's still a review at the end of the day, by all means.
Any publicity is good publicity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
So, along with all your writing, you do a lot of poetry.
Yeah.
I've been and seen you perform your poetry as well. It was one of the weirder events I've ever been to in my life. I've got to be honest with you. I've never been to a poetry event. But the one thing that threw me was nobody clapped. Everybody just started kind of doing this.
What's that? Milking nipples?
It's like, yeah. It's like the $1 Million Man. Because they don't want to clap. I don't know what the thing was with clapping. It was like, I don't know. It's like everyone claps, everyone just kind of goes into like a fit. I don't know. Like, what was it? Tell me.
So it's to show your sign of support, or to show that you like a poem or what the poet's saying. The audience tend to click their fingers to say that they enjoy it. Or if we're struggling, maybe there's been times where I've been on stage and forgotten my lines, and there's a moment of silence, so the audience will start clicking their fingers to like say to you, "Come on, you got this."
Isn't that distracting?
I
was up there and I forgot my lines. Everyone started going,
"Come on, hurry up!"
I think it's more like a encouraging thing, because if you hear someone clapping, then it's kind of like you almost think, is it that they trying to tell me to get off the stage? Like, is this the end of my poem? Like, And I think clapping's quite loud, so they tend to click until you reach the end of the poem. Then they start clapping. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Maybe we should bring that into wrestling.
Just
get the clicks going.
We should start this. But it was definitely a lot more because I was looking around, everyone was clicking. I was like really baffled by it. I was, what the fuck is going on?
I can't believe you haven't been to more poetry events. You're like every person at every poetry event ever.
I know every poet. The only poet I know is Abdul. But like, it was good. What you were doing was absolutely fantastic. To be honest, I thought you were the better one of all of them, and that's not just me saying it because I know you. Like, a lot of them, they were talking about stuff, and I was like, I don't know what they're saying, but yours are nice and clear and concise, and I understood what you were saying. But again, maybe that was because I knew you. But I did enjoy yours a lot more. It seemed a lot more kind of down to earth, where everyone else was trying to really make it felt like a bit more. They were trying to make some form of massive point.
Yeah.
Poetry.
I mean, poetry was one of those things where I kind of just stumbled upon. I never intentionally tried to do it. Well, I just finished writing Native, and I guess when you write a book, you're writing about a topic and you're writing about a story or something that's formally structured, if you like. Whilst with poetry, I kind of there was just shit I wanted to get off my chest, like express myself without it being in a book. And I was just writing stuff on Twitter, like not even poetry, just bullshit, like just things. And believe it or not, this lady from Cheltenham Poetry Festival got in contact with me and said, "Oh, I really like your poetry on Twitter and online." I thought she was winding me up. I was like,
slagging up
standards. She was like, "Oh, I'd really like you to perform at the Cheltenham Poetry Festival," and I'm like, she must be winding me up. And then I looked into it and she wasn't winding me up. So then I sat down with my wife and I said to her, I goes, "Oh, this has happened." And she was like to me, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "Well, I better start getting some practice in because I ain't got a clue what I'm doing." So I got in touch with other sort of poets that were doing really well, like Rakaya, the likes of Caleb Femi, Sully Breaks, and a few other artists, a few other poets. And I just started listening to their work and the way they was expressing themselves and the things they were talking about, and just kind of made it my own and used them as a guideline. And then before you know it, I was just performing back to back at different shows, headlining, getting stuff published in poetry books. And I guess people liked what I had to say. And that all started from just talking shit on Twitter. So, yeah.
So if you want to get anywhere in life, start talking shit on Twitter. That's a good lesson.
I mean, look at Donald Trump.
Yeah, you're right about that.
He got elected through tweets.
He did. He actually did.
Pretty much. That's how poetry went down. And I met some really, really nice people. Don't get me wrong, I met some really weird people as well. Really weird people. In fact, one that still messages me today, sends me voice notes, asking me to come down to London on a Thursday. I'm like, dude, we're in lockdown. Like, but shout out to him anyway. He's an odd guy, but his heart's in the right place.
Shout out to that motherfucker. Hello.
But I met some really nice people. Essentially, it helped me network as well and meet different writers and different people, and allowed me to really improve my writing from a descriptive point of view as well. So shout out to the poetry scene, man. They really enhanced me as a writer as well as a poet. And as a person, you know, there's no such thing as a good poem or a bad poem, I believe. I think everyone's got a way of expressing themselves, and you either understand it or you don't, and that's poetry.
Yeah, it's good. I think these creative things that you've got to find, they really, really, really do help just with everything. I think personally, I know having like that creative outlet really does help me. So I think it just benefits everybody. I think so. If you're not doing something creative, find something creative. And along with your poetry, along with your writing, we've got literally a list of stuff, man.
How long is this podcast?
It's going to be.
We're going to be here all day.
It's going to be. This is the celebration of Lent. This is the entire thing. This is a 40 days, 40 nights podcast. So, but with this, you've also been doing acting, Abdul, and you've been in some pretty sick things. Like, I can see that you've got previous roles in The Informer and something called No Comment web series, which I haven't heard of that, but The Informer I have. You've turned down a role on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Too good for Doctor Who.
Recently as well.
So you turned down a role on Doctor Who like a madman. But you've also got an upcoming Netflix series that you're going to be in, called The Last Bus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, like, just tell us how the fuck you got into all that. Like, tell us that.
Give us your secrets.
What did you do? Like,
who
did you do? That's the question.
I mean, I guess the thing is, me and you, we went to college together. We studied performing arts, and as much as we learned some things, I think the course wasn't as serious as we thought it would be. And don't get me wrong, I've made some really good friends like yourself, like friends for life. But I think acting, I think it's one of those things that if you want to pursue, you really have to put yourself out there. And even though I've been in quite a few things, I haven't really put myself out there. It's kind of just been in the right place at the right time. And with The Informer was actually the first role I ever took on. And it's kind of funny. There was an ad for basketball players in a huge Hollywood film coming up in Gloucester. And I was like, that makes no sense. Nothing ever happens in Gloucester. And my missus was like, oh, you should apply for it. You should apply for it. And I'm like, nah, it's not real. Even the advert, it looked like it been done on paint. So I was like, so anyway, I sent this email along with some of my basketball pictures from back in college days, and they got in contact with me and said, yeah, if you can meet at Gloucester Prison on these dates, and we'd love to have you on board as an extra. And I went in. I was expecting to be turned away and just head straight to work. And I'm no longer working there, so this story isn't relevant to them, or, you know, if I get in trouble for this. But essentially, I called in sick. But I thought it was bullshit. So I turned up there expecting to be turned away, or no one actually be there, and just head round the corner to work. And this huge bouncer, this security staff, comes to the door and he goes, "Oh mate, you here for the film?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, if you head through there into the waiting room, they're all waiting there, just sign in." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So
security
I walk in. Yeah, and then I see all these, like, you know, all these mixed race guys, all these black guys, and a few white guys that kind of look like heavily tatted and look like bikers / like, you know, neo-Nazi type things. So I'm thinking, shit, like maybe this is real, like maybe something. But anyway, I carry about my business, and they send me to costume and makeup, and literally put on like a prison outfit, like just joggers and like a plain sort of t-shirt. Send me to makeup to get all these tattoos applied to me, and it took like a good 3-4 hours every day to put those on for 5 days. So my back was in a lot of pain, but you know, it is what it is. You just do it. And then I walked on set, and Joel Kinnaman, he was on set, bumped fists with him, and he bumped fists with everyone else, and was like, "Hey, everyone, you know, how you doing?" Real cool guy. And then on the second day, the director told me to take my top off and walk up and down the basketball court. And I'm thinking, oh, great, I'm going to be in this basketball scene, so I do it. And then they select all these people for this basketball scene. And I'm there like, yeah, I played at a high level, like, you know, pick me sort of thing. And they're like, no, stand aside, like, we're not going to pick you. That's the whole reason I come on here, but okay.
Why did I take my top off?
In the film, it doesn't look like it's raining, but it was fucking raining and it was cold. It was really cold. And I'm there. I've just finished Ramadan as well, like fasting for 30 days. I'm skin and bones. I've got no body fat on me, and I'm walking up and down in the cold. And I'm thinking, oh, like, I really need to get warm here. Anyway, we break for lunch, and they provide lunch. So, you know, Flynn knows what I'm like when it comes to food. I'll be running back to the canteen, loading up my plate. You know, the director comes up to me, and he's like, "Oh, I've been watching you all day," and I'm thinking he's gonna be like, "I'll go home. Like, you're not, you know, you're taking a piss sort of thing." And I'm like, yeah, and he goes, I want you to play Vermin. And I'm like, excuse me? You just call me Vermin? He walks away. He just like walks away, and then the assistant director walks up to me, and she's like, "Oh, congratulations, you've been casted in the film." And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I go and get I literally load up my plate, put my plate down, and she comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, we need you out in the courtyard. We need you out in the courtyard because we're going to start rehearsing." And I'm like, I just, you know, put food on my plate. Like, I want to eat. And she's like, "Oh, we'll pay you for that. Don't worry, just come." And I'm like, I grab a bread roll and walk out with her. And then I walk to the courtyard, and I see Joe Kinnaman there. I see the director. I see Common. And the videographer, and Common, like as in the rapper Common. He stood there, and he comes up to me, bumps fists with me, and he's like, hey Abs, how you doing, man?" And I'm like in awe and like gobsmacked, like this hip hop legend is like, you know, saying my name and like asking me how I am. And I'm like, "I'm good, man, I'm good." And they went through the scene that I have to perform, and the rest is, you know, you can watch it on the movie. But it was mind blowing just to think, walking up and down, you know, not getting casted for what I originally thought I would be, then turning out to be taking like not a major role but like a feature role in a big Hollywood film, which also helped pay for my my fiance, well, my girlfriend then, and now fiance, well, now wife, turning fiance.
What is she, Abdul? What is she to you?
That was a fast 10 seconds.
Yeah, eventually it helped pay for the engagement ring, which I'm very grateful of. And then every little bits and bobs have turned up. Some of them, like Will mentioned, I've actually had to turn down, mainly because of work, but also mainly because I'm quite picky with what I represent and what I promote. Just because of my faith, my lifestyle, and like my community as well. I don't really want to represent something that I think is going to put me in a bad light or promote me in a bad way. I guess because of my image, and I don't say this like I'm some sort of big celebrity, but my community watching me, and I have people around me watching what I do, so I don't want to promote things that's gonna not be painted in the best of light. So,
see, if I was casted in anything, I'd want to be Negan from The Walking Dead, and I'd like people to know that I like clubbed Glenn's skull in. Like, I like people to know, that's the guy that killed that guy. Like, that'd be like the best thing ever. Walking down the street, he's like, "There's the killer! There's the killer!" Like the great.
Where's the baseball bat?
Exactly. I'm gonna get one when the zombie apocalypse happens. And along with your acting, you're also a journalist for MMA and Link Up TV. So it's like media journalism, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for MMA and Linked Up TV, how did you get into that as well?
So Link Up TV, I got into that March last year, so coming up to a year now. I started blogging on my website, just about like news and things that I was quite interested in. So one of my first blogs was about Serena Williams, and it was during the time when there was a lot of controversy around the way she acted in one of her games. But I wrote about how other tennis players did exactly the same, but there was no sort of repercussions for them. And I wrote about a bit about feminism and a bit about those sorts of things. And then I just blogged about other things that were coming up in news. Mac Miller, hip hop artist, he passed away from, I think it was an overdose. So I talked about substance misuse on that blog. And it was just another way to expand my writing, because I'm writing fictional things, I'm writing poetry. And then I thought, okay, let me write about something people may want to read, like something more along the lines of news. Eventually, I saw this ad for Link Up TV, which is like a urban music sort of organization, where they also promote like current news in the UK. So I applied for it, sent them some of my blogs and some other things that I've wrote up, and yeah, they got me on board with them, and I've been writing for them since March last year. Some really cool opportunities have come past as well, so yeah.
That's really cool, man. And yeah, again, like, I just still can't believe how much that you have done.
Yeah, how do you find the time to do all this? What does your schedule look like?
If you look at the Mark Wahlberg schedule,
4 a.m. wake up.
4 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, not at all, man. I don't know. I think it's looking at their expectations and seeing how I can make that fit. Like, for example, Link Up, they don't have no preference if you want to write every day, if you want to write, 3 times a week or whatever. But they have an expectation for you to like write so many days a week. And same as MMA UK, I write for MMA UK, which is quite a recent thing. And they have like an expectation that you may do, 2 posts a week or so on, do interviews, etc. But it's kind of like, I'm quite fortunate because I work my day job, I work shift work. So some days during the week, I'm able to dedicate that time. And my wife, she's very supportive in my work and the things I do. So I'm very fortunate to, take time away from our relationship and, pursue these things, but also stay grounded and remember where my priorities are. So yeah, I guess everyone's different, but for me, I wake up super early. I try to make the best of my days. I go to bed at a reasonable time, and I just balance. Balance is key. I don't know what more to say.
Sort of neither me or Buzzsaw have.
Completely unbalanced. It's all or nothing.
And that's what this podcast is it's just it's just a lot of lost hours of sleep. Like that's essentially all it is at this point. And Oracle busts her ass as well. Like, Oracle doesn't get enough credit, but she is like the real star power of this entire podcast.
Oh, thanks.
Without her, we wouldn't have everything up on YouTube or anything else. She sorts out all the clips and everything. So I think she's had a bit more of a well-needed break this week.
We've been able catch up on my sleep.
Take it easy a little bit. But it's definitely the balance. 100%, Abdul, you are correct. Is definitely a key, but it's definitely something I haven't mastered yet. Abdul, what's the worst thing you ever done?
You really gonna ask me that?
Yeah.
You don't have to be honest.
This is the point of the podcast. All goes downhill, and it turns into a slight chaos.
Worst thing I've ever done? I don't know, man.
You can see it's turning in everybody at this point.
Yeah,
it's what can you say you've done? What can you admit to?
I've done some pretty shitty things in my time. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've done, but it's really funny. I mean, my brother always speak about it. So back when I used to live in London, often or not, my mum used to go out to work, and we'd be left in the care of my nan. And my nan had a thing for lunch. She quite often made mashed potato and like kidneys with like steak and kidneys, with like onions and whatnot. Anyway, me and my brother, we'd eat the meat and leave the mash. And my nan's old school. She don't mess about. Like if you gave a lip or if you didn't do what you was told, you get a bit of a hiding. And so we had a lot of mashed potato left on our plate, and me and my brother were like chucking it on each other's plates and having a laugh about it. And in the end, we was like, oh, we need to eat this, but we can't put it in the bin because Nan will see. So what do we do? And my nan, she's got like, maybe with the majority of people's grandmothers as well, on her fridge, she's got these fruit magnets. So what we decided to do is get the mashed potato and fill up these magnets and then put them back on the fridge. And,
that's such a bad decision. Instantly.
But it stuck. It stuck. So it wasn't like it fell off. We made sure that the magnet was, still, active on the fridge. We went back to Gloucester, so we'd come back to Gloucester for in the summertime to see my dad and his family. So we'd come back and then we'd go back to London before school term started. And we looked underneath the magnet and the mashed potatoes were still there.
Oh no.
How long was this?
I mean, that must have been like 5-4 weeks.
Oh God!
Wow, long time.
Stored under a magnet.
Come back. I was expecting you to come back, and your nan was like, "I'm not fucking." Like, as she said, she doesn't fuck around. I was expecting you to find it, empty it all out into a Tupperware, and make you eat it when you came back, or something. Like you just walk in the door, she's got full of mash. You're like, "Here you go, you fuckers."
I can't remember because this would have been like when I was quite young, probably under the age of 10. So I'm sure she probably did give me a beating for it, but I can't remember. But my mum actually, I remember this and I'll never forget this. I swore one time in front of my mum when I was quite young, and she used to keep these chilies from Mauritius, where my family's originally from. But they used to pickle everything, man. They pickle like mango, pineapple, socks, you name it. They pickle everything. Anyway, she pickled this jar of chili, and it'd been there for like ages, because you know that how pickle like keeps it doesn't let things go off or whatever. So anyway, she opened this jar and she goes, "Oh, like you're gonna eat a teaspoon of this now for swearing." And I was like, "No, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it." And there was cobwebs on the top of this pickled chili, and like the Mauritian chili is like so hot, like really hot. And
like the one that was in the curry at your wedding.
I don't eat hot food, and this is probably the reason why. And so yeah, she made me eat a teaspoon of like cobwebs and pickled chili, and for swearing, and she probably would give me more if she heard me on this podcast. But I'll probably...
Yeah, drink the whole jar.
Behind some fucking magnets.
My nan could just about work her house on, so I ain't got to worry about that.
She's on her YouTube. She's on her YouTube. She knows it cold.
I bought her some of my books, like to say like, oh, like, Nan, I've done this. And then when I bought her Ghost of Shaolin, the second book, man, she's like, why do you keep bringing me these books? I'm like, Nan, I wrote them. Oh, congratulations, that's really good.
Well done. It's the first one, Nan. Oh, I used it for kindling.
Underneath one of her chairs somewhere.
It's
It's
the leg on one.
Nah, she's super proud. She's really happy with what I'm doing. So
now, LeBron James, Dana White, Shakespeare. You got to fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
Oh my god. I'd marry Dana White. I guess I'd be intimate with LeBron.
What would you do?
I'd have to kill Shakespeare.
Shakespeare? Oh, Bill Shakespeare.
He's already dead. Does that count?
In the scenario, he's been reincarnated.
Right, yeah, of course. Obviously.
And then Abdul killed him again.
Nice. Fuck you, Shakespeare.
She's just like, oh my god, what's happening? He's like, actually, no, I changed my mind. In the throat.
Baseball bat to the back of the head.
Right in his little ruffle. And where's the weirdest place you've ever banged?
Ever what, sorry?
You've ever banged?
Oh, I can't answer that.
People always make you say that twice. It's like, he didn't really just say that.
Did he just say that? We ask every guest.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
So, was it a weird place? Like, how weird were we talking?
Not weird at all. I wouldn't say.
The Otter Sanctuary at the zoo.
We've had a cafe, and we've had a car at the top of like an NCP car park.
That's creative.
It's creative.
We're always encouraging people to be more creative.
To be fair, it's going to be quiet and there ain't going to be a lot of people around, so good on them.
Might as well. No, I'm done.
No, I'm done up the bum.
They got the view of the stars as well.
Exactly, got the stars and
the skyline.
In the cafe, you've got the view of the coffee machine.
Actually, very romantic, an NCP car park.
That fluorescent lighting does wonders for the skin. And white or black socks?
Black.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Always black.
I'm wearing. I've got white on. I don't know if I can. I'm not as flexible. I can't. I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
My whole leg filling with blood.
Don't injure yourself again.
They look a bit dirty.
That was my bad leg I was folding around as well for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking.
You idiot.
Now I'm sweating. I moved an inch and now I'm sweating. This is the life of me. But we've asked you a lot of questions. But I think it's time for you to answer a few more, because it is time for the Mindmelter challenge.
Yay! We're all so excited. You excited?
Let's melt down then.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a minute on the clock. There's going to be some music playing. You're going to be looking at your own face, and I'm going to ask you some MMA questions. I say MMA, it's all UFC, because I couldn't be bothered to find more complicated questions. Alright, so
just to add quickly, if you get the #1 spot on the leaderboard, okay, we've got Rob Leonard with 5 in number 2, and we've got the Elliot Jordan Experience with 6 correct answers. Okay, so you've got to get 6 or above to either match the Elliot Jordan Experience or take the leaderboard if you want that mystery prize at the end of the year. So think about that for a second before you go into that.
Okay.
All right.
No pressure.
All right. If you don't know anything, just say pass and we'll move on to the next question. Okay, when the music starts, Oracle, hit us up. Where was UFC 1 held?
Pass.
Who has the most UFC heavyweight title defenses?
Stipe Miocic.
Correct. Who has thrown the most strikes in a UFC fight?
Max Holloway.
Correct. How old is Dana White? Was that a pass?
Yeah.
Who was the main event of UFC 69?
Pass.
Which boxer did Randy Couture defeat at UFC 118?
Dan Henderson.
James Toney. Who has the most submission victories in UFC?
Charles Oliveira.
Correct. What is Brock Lesnar's MMA record?
Shit.
Oh, was that time?
Yeah, that's
That's
time.
time. That's time. All right. So that's pretty good. We got 1, 2, 3 answers correct.
Woo!
Woo.
Abdul Patel, 3 answers correct.
Do you find like your mind has melted?
Yeah. You know, could have been better.
No, you know what? I was told to make these questions harder because Flynn was like, "You're making questions too easy." So you did get some difficult questions today.
Yeah.
They are getting increasingly more difficult, but I also sorry for coughing in the middle of that.
Yeah, you completely ruined the whole thing. I couldn't even hear what was going on.
Like a bit of spit went down the wrong hole. I was like, "Oh God!" No, I'm done though.
No,
You know
I'm
what it's
done.
like.
You're still with us.
But sorry if I distracted you at all.
Yeah. I should get like a bonus question for that distraction.
Yeah, we'll give you. I'll ask you one more question. See what you can
I
get.
think that's fair.
What year did Anderson Silva break his leg against Chris Weidman?
It was before Reebok, so 2014.
2013.
Oh, so close.
Damn, Albert.
2013?
Yeah. Unlucky 13. Unlucky for Silva.
Unlucky, but that puts you with 3 points. So that does put you in 3rd place on the Mindmelter 2021 leaderboard. So, unfortunately, you won't be going home with the mystery prize. And Elliot Jordan Experience still holds that coveted #1 spot.
What happens if number 1 and 2 pass away? That makes me number 1.
By default, you will become #1.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Now, no, if they mysteriously are, we know, and it'll be on you.
Just say they went up to NCP car park together and they didn't come back down.
They never came back down. Parked fraternity up there.
That would cost a fortune.
God. And then NCP, I tell you what, be bankrupt. Absolutely bankrupt. After half a day. So I think I parked once in Bristol in NCP car park. No, I think it was Cardiff, in fact. And it was a fucking fortune.
That's how they get you. You want to have a car, you got to pay for parking.
It was a tenner for half a day.
That's not that bad.
What?
I paid £30 for parking in London for about 2 hours.
Jesus H.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
The mortgage for that.
Yeah.
Well, to write a story on NCP car parks in London. Because the boys in the car park.
You never know. Could work.
A gritty crime comedy. But stop. Short story. It'd be kind of like Beverly Hills Cop, but with like a second Eddie Murphy.
And Oracle could be the CCTV operative.
Yeah.
She can be the car like Kit in Knight Rider.
Yeah.
The Oracle Mobile.
Sounds amazing.
It has long hair on top as well. But Abdul, where can everybody find you on social media so they can keep up to date with all of the awesome stuff that you're doing, man?
It's Abdul, ABDUL, Ahad, AHAD _ Patel, PATEL. That's the same on like Twitter, Instagram. And if you just type in my name in Google, I've got a website which is literally abdulahadpatel.com. And you can find all my sort of material on there.
That's awesome.
What we'll do, we'll get all the links to that down below. So everybody go and follow Abdul and show him some love and support. And pick up his books as well. Like, these are absolutely fantastic books, and I can't say that enough. And plus, it's a friend that's written them, so it makes it even more better for me. But I'm sure you will enjoy it just as much as I did. And he's got a lot on the way. And check out his new series that he's going to be on Netflix, The Last Bus. Go check that out, because you'll get to see his little face on a screen of your choosing.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Abdul. It's great. You got a lot of stuff going on. It's great to hear there's someone like you out there doing all the good work for the community. And thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And before everybody goes and switches off their computers or their phones, remember to like, subscribe, share, follow, all of the things that we love. Yes, please go ahead and do all of that. Every little bit of support for the podcast here is much, much appreciated. And we're like really happy seeing all these little numbers grow and the audience grow. So please continue to do so, because it's absolutely awesome to see, and we love you for it. But this has been session 7.
Sete?
Yep, that's right. 7.
7. Writer, I hardly knew her, with Mr. Abdul Patel, the man himself. Thank you so much, Abdul, once again for coming on. This has been Boys in the Wood, baby.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Abdul. Thanks, everyone, for watching /
you.
listening. Peace. And now we just dance out.
You just dance out, just to feel the vibe, and love.
I really need some new dance moves. I do the same one every week.